I stood in the wide hallway, running my hand along the polished wooden rail. The house smelled of old cedar and fresh roses from the garden. Every brick here carried my sweat, my hunger, my tears. And yet lately it felt less like mine. "Mother, you're standing there again." Ethan's voice echoed from the dining room. I turned, smiling despite the sharpness in his tone. "I'm just remembering. Do you know how many nights I went without food to save for this staircase?" He sighed. "You've told me before. Many times. And yet you don't hear me," I whispered. "What?" he asked. "Nothing," I forced a smile. "Dinner's ready. Sit." Clara walked in, her heels clicking softly. "It smells wonderful, Mother," she said sweetly. I studied her smile. Perfect, polished, always polite. "I hope you like lentils. They kept us alive once." "Oh, I'm sure it's lovely," she replied, sliding beside Ethan. "But times are different now, aren't they? You've worked so hard, you should rest more." "I rest enough," I muttered, placing dishes down. "I've spent my life working for Ethan. For this house." Ethan cut into the bread. "You say that often, Mother. Don't you think it's time to stop living in the past?" "The past built this present," I answered quickly. "Do you even remember the little apartment we shared before this mansion?" He shrugged. "Barely. I was a child." "I remember every corner," I said. "The leaks, the rats, the nights I sang to you to cover your hunger. This house was my promise that you would never suffer like that again." Clara's hand brushed his. "And you kept your promise. Look at him now. Strong, successful. You should be proud." "I am proud," I said softly, watching Ethan eat. "But sometimes I wonder if he knows the cost." Ethan frowned. "Why do you always say things like that? Do you want me to feel guilty?" "No," I shook my head. "I want you to feel grateful." "I am grateful," he snapped. Clara's voice turned smooth. "Ethan works so hard now, Mother. Maybe he doesn't show it the way you expect, but he loves you." I forced myself to nod, though inside I felt a strange hollow. Love doesn't hide. It shines. Ethan pushed his plate back. "You always find fault in me. Isn't it enough that I'm here? That I take care of you? You think presence is care?" My voice trembled. "A child's heart is the real care. Do you remember the nights you said, 'I'll never leave you, Mother'? You clung to me as though the world was ending." "That was childhood," he muttered. "Childhood shapes the man," I whispered. Clara leaned forward, her eyes soft but her words sharp. "Maybe what he needs now is space. He's grown. He's building his own life. Perhaps you hold on too tightly." I met her gaze. Tightly? I held him because he was all I had. When his father died, I thought I would break. But I didn't, because Ethan needed me. Everything in me lived for him. Ethan groaned. "We've heard this story. Always the sacrifices. Always the tears. Do you want a medal?" The word struck me harder than a slap. For a moment I couldn't breathe. "No," I said quietly. "I want respect." Clara touched his arm. "Don't be harsh, Ethan. She only means well." He leaned back, avoiding my eyes. "Sometimes I feel like you use your sacrifices as a weapon. I didn't ask you to starve. You chose that." I gripped the edge of the table. "I chose it because I loved you." Silence filled the room, broken only by the ticking clock. My chest felt tight, my throat burning. I wanted to scream, "Why don't you love me back?" But the words stayed inside. Clara finally smiled again. "We're one family now. We should focus on harmony, not arguments." Harmony. The word rolled bitterly in my mouth. "Do you think I enjoy this tension?" I asked her. I wanted peace. I dreamed of grandchildren running in these halls, laughter filling the rooms. Instead, I feel like a stranger. Her eyes flickered, but her smile didn't fade. "Perhaps it's just adjustment. Give it time." Ethan rose, grabbing his jacket. "Enough of this. I have work to finish." "Ethan," I called after him. "Do you even see me anymore?" He paused at the door but didn't turn. "I see a mother who can't let go." Then he left. My knees felt weak. Clara touched my shoulder lightly. "Don't take his words so hard. Men sometimes speak without thinking. Or they speak the truth too sharply," I whispered. Her grip tightened just a second before she let go. "Rest early, Mother. You look tired." I nodded, forcing calm. "Yes. Good night." She glided out, leaving me alone with the silence. I walked back into the hallway, touching the staircase again. Do you remember, Ethan? I whispered to the empty air. Your little feet ran up and down here while I cheered. You said, "One day, Mother, this will always be ours." My eyes burned. And yet I feel it slipping from me already. The house seemed to sigh with me. The roses outside swayed against the windows. For the first time, the mansion I built felt cold, as though warning me of storms to come. The table was set with care, though my hands shook as I placed the final dish down. I had cooked Ethan's favorite stew, hoping tonight would bring us closer. Instead, the air already felt heavy. "Mother," Clara began softly, folding her napkin, "you really outdid yourself. The smell alone is comforting." "Food is love," I answered, forcing a smile. "Every bite carries a story." Ethan lifted his spoon, then paused. His voice was steady but cold. "Mother, we need to talk." My heart skipped. "Talk? About what?" He looked at Clara, who gave a practiced little nod. Then he turned back to me. "About this house." I frowned. "What about it?" Clara's voice was sugar-sweet. "You've carried the burden of this mansion for years. Maybe it's time you let go. You should move somewhere smaller, easier to manage. A cozy apartment, perhaps." I laughed nervously. "A cozy apartment? This is my home. Why would I leave?" Ethan's jaw tightened. "Because this mansion is ours now, Mother." The spoon slipped from my hand, clattering against the bowl. "Ours? What do you mean, ours?" He leaned back, unflinching. "Clara and I are starting our life. We want to raise our family here. You deserve peace, not work. So, it's time you step aside." Step aside. My chest burned. I built this place. Every stone, every brick. It was my life. "You did well," he said quickly, almost dismissively. "But that was then. Now it's ours to carry forward." Tears pricked my eyes. "Ethan, I didn't sacrifice everything so you could push me out. This house is my blood." He sighed. "Mother, don't be dramatic." Claire placed her hand on his. "Please don't misunderstand. We only want what's best for you. Imagine a simple apartment with sunlight, a caretaker to help you. No stress. Doesn't that sound nice?" I shook my head violently. "No. This is my life. My memories. Do you know what I went through to buy this land? Do you know how many nights I slept hungry while Ethan ate the last piece of bread?" Ethan groaned. "Not again." "Yes, again." I shouted louder than I intended. "You forget too easily. I starved so you could live. And now you tell me to leave." Clara's eyes narrowed for a fraction before softening again. "We're not throwing you out. We're offering freedom. You'll thank us later." Freedom. My laugh was bitter. Freedom from what? From the only place that ever felt safe. Ethan slammed his hand on the table. "Why can't you see it? You're holding me back. This house should be mine. Ours. You're just clinging to the past." I stared at him, unable to breathe. Clinging? In this house is my heart. Without it, what do I have left? "You have me," he said, though his tone lacked warmth. I looked straight into his eyes. "Do I? Because the son I raised would never speak to me like this." He looked away. Clara's voice was low, soothing. "He's only trying to build a future. Don't turn this into a fight." My lips trembled. "A fight? He just told me my home isn't mine. How do I not fight?" Ethan stood abruptly. "I knew you wouldn't understand." "Understand?" I whispered. "Explain it to me then. How can a mother understand her child throwing her away?" His silence cut deeper than words. Clara rose gracefully. "Let's not raise our voices. We'll talk again tomorrow calmly. Mother, please consider it. Think of your health. Think of us." I pointed to the walls around me. "Every picture here is a chapter of my life. Do you want me to abandon it all? To sit alone in some box of an apartment while you erase me from this house?" Ethan's eyes hardened. "Maybe it's time." The words shattered me. My body trembled so violently I had to grip the chair. "Time? Time for what?" "To forget I ever existed." Clara's smile stayed fixed. "We don't want to erase you. But families must grow, and sometimes growth means change." I could hardly hear her. My ears rang with Ethan's voice. "This mansion is ours now." I whispered, "Do you hear yourself? You're not just taking a house, you're cutting my heart out." He stared at me, lips pressed tight, offering nothing. The room blurred as tears filled my eyes. I turned away, unable to face him. My son, my only son, had just exiled me from my own soul. That night, alone in my room, I buried my face into the pillow. My sobs echoed through the silence. Over and over I whispered, I built this house for you, and you threw me out of it. The mansion that once glowed with laughter now felt like a coffin, closing in around me. Morning light spilled through the curtains, but it felt like darkness. I stood by the doorway with my suitcase half-packed, my hands shaking. Mother, Ethan said sharply from the hall, have you started moving your things? I turned slowly. Moving? This is my room. Where do you expect me to go? He crossed his arms. Claire and I need the master suite. You'll take the smaller guest room for now. Later we'll arrange something better for you. My chest tightened. Arrange? Like I'm some guest in my own home. Clara appeared beside him, her tone sweet. Please don't take it that way. It's just, we need more space as a couple. Privacy, you understand. I swallowed hard. Privacy at the cost of my dignity? Dignity. Ethan scoffed. You're overreacting. You should be grateful we're even keeping you here until we find another place for you. My voice cracked. Grateful? Then I raised you in this house. Every corner carries your childhood. And you're telling me I should be grateful you haven't thrown me on the street yet. Clara touched his arm. Don't be harsh. She's emotional. Of course I'm emotional. I shouted. Do you know what it feels like to be pushed aside by your own blood? Silence. Ethan wouldn't meet my eyes. At that moment Anna, the maid, entered quietly. Madam, she whispered, your tea is ready. She glanced at Ethan and Clara, then at me, sympathy in her eyes. I forced a smile. Thank you, Anna. Leave it by the window. When she left I turned back to them. Even Anna sees what's happening. Do you feel no shame? Clara sighed. You're making this harder than it has to be. We only want what's practical. Practical. My hands clenched. I gave my soul for you, Ethan. Practicality was eating half a loaf so you could have the other half. Practicality was working 2 jobs so you could go to school. And now you call this betrayal practical? His face hardened. You can throw sacrifices in my face all you want. It doesn't change reality. Things are different now. Different. I whispered. The only difference is that my son no longer loves me. He winced but said nothing. Clara stepped forward. Please, let's not fight. Change is painful, but it's necessary. I shook my head. You speak as if I'm the burden here. I built this house. I bled for it. And now I'm treated like a squatter. Ethan muttered, stop dramatizing everything. Dramatizing. My voice rose. Look at me, Ethan. Do I look like a mother exaggerating? Or do I look like a woman broken by her own child? His silence was answer enough. I sat heavily on the bed, tears spilling. Do you even remember the nights you were sick and I stayed awake, praying for your fever to break? Do you remember holding my hand saying, don't leave me, mother? Where did that boy go? Ethan shifted uncomfortably. People grow up. No, I whispered, staring at the floor. People change. And not always for the better. Claire moved toward the door. We'll give you some time to adjust. But please don't resist what's best for everyone. Best for everyone, I repeated bitterly. Everyone but me. They left, closing the door behind them. I sat in the silence, my body trembling. The room that once held Ethan's laughter now held only the sound of my sobs. Anna returned quietly, placing a hand on my shoulder. Madam, don't cry. Some children forget, but life has a way of teaching. I squeezed her hand weakly. Thank you, Anna. But right now I feel like a ghost in my own house. As she left, I whispered to the empty room, I gave him everything. And now I have nothing. The mansion felt colder than ever, each wall pressing down on me like a stranger. I sat on the floor, clothes scattered around me, my suitcase half filled. My hands trembled as I pulled open the drawer of the old oak cabinet. Inside, beneath yellowed letters, lay a thin brown envelope. What's this? I whispered, pulling it out. I opened it and froze. The property deed. My husband's signature, clear and bold. And below it, my name. Only my name. For a moment I couldn't breathe. It's mine, I whispered. All this time, it's mine. The door creaked. Anna peeked in. Madam, do you need help packing? I clutched the paper to my chest. Anna, look. She stepped closer, eyes widening. The deed? Under your name? Yes. My voice shook with a strange mix of fear and fire. They told me to leave my house, Anna. My house. But it was never theirs. Not for a single day. Her eyes shone. Then you still have power, madam. I nodded slowly, memories rushing back. My husband's voice, soft but firm. I put everything in your name. Promise me you'll protect it. Promise you'll never let anyone take it away. I whispered to the empty air. I promised. The door opened wider. Ethan stood there, frowning. What are you whispering about? I quickly slid the paper against my chest. Nothing. He narrowed his eyes. You look guilty. What are you hiding? Why should I answer to you? I shot back. He stepped into the room. Because this house is mine now. Whatever you're clutching, hand it over. I rose, anger boiling. Yours. You keep saying that word as if saying it makes it true. Clara appeared behind him, her tone calm, coaxing. Mother, please. Don't be stubborn. We want peace. I laughed bitterly. Peace? By stripping me of everything I built? That's not peace, it's theft. Ethan's voice grew harsh. We're not arguing again. Give me the paper. No, I said firmly, my hands tightening on it. He reached forward, but I stepped back. Don't you dare touch this. Do you even know what it is? Clara tilted her head. What is it then? I held it high, my heart racing. The deed. The house is in my name. Not yours. Not ours. Mine. For the first time their faces faltered. Ethan's eyes widened. Clara's smile cracked for just a second. You're lying, Ethan muttered. Read it yourself, I snapped, thrusting the paper toward him but not letting go. He scanned it, his hands trembling. This can't be right. It's more right than anything you've said, I replied coldly. Your father made sure. He trusted me, not you. Clara leaned closer, her voice still soft but sharper now. Perhaps it's time we reviewed the legality. After all, documents can be changed. Changed? I barked out a laugh. You think you can erase my husband's signature? His will? His promise? Ethan's face flushed red. So you've been hiding this all along? Hiding? I echoed. No. I never thought I'd need to defend myself against my own child. He ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. Mother, you don't understand. Clara and I understand perfectly, I cut him off. You wanted me gone. You wanted the mansion without lifting a finger. And now you realize you can't have it. Clara reached for his hand, whispering, Don't lose your temper. We'll find another way. I pointed at her. You've poisoned his mind. Sweet words, gentle smiles, but every sentence pushes me further out. I see it now. Ethan's voice broke. Stop blaming her. Maybe I want this too. Maybe I'm tired of living in your shadow, always hearing about sacrifices and debts I never asked for. My throat tightened. You think this house is a debt? It was love, Ethan. Every stone was laid with love. But you turned that love into chains around my neck. He fell silent, his jaw trembling. I stepped closer, holding the deed firmly. This paper is my shield. And from today I will not bow to you. Not in my house. Clara's eyes darkened though her smile stayed. So you intend to fight your own son? I straightened, my tears drying into resolve. If my son has become my enemy, then yes. I will fight. The silence between us grew heavy, only the ticking clock filling the room. Ethan's shoulders slumped, but Clara's grip on him tightened, guiding him back toward the door. This isn't over, Clara said softly. No, I whispered, clutching the deed to my chest. It's only beginning. They left, the door shutting hard behind them. I sank onto the bed, holding the paper as though it were life itself. My husband's voice echoed in my mind once more. Promise me you'll protect it. I will, I whispered, fire burning through my veins. I swear I will. For the first time in days I felt strength in my bones. Betrayal had broken me, but truth had armed me. The mansion was mine. And I would not let them take it. I placed the deed carefully back into the drawer, locking it tight. My chest rose and fell, a storm brewing inside me. Downstairs I heard their voices. Low, sharp, urgent. Ethan and Clara. I gripped the banister and walked down. Each step echoed like a drumbeat announcing war. When I entered the living room, their conversation cut short. Mother, Ethan said stiffly. "We need to talk." "I'm listening," I replied, settling into the armchair. My hands shook, but I folded them neatly in my lap. Clara's smile flickered. "We don't want hostility. But the truth is, this house is too big for you alone. Ethan and I have plans." "Plans?" I cut her off. "You mean to erase me?" Ethan's voice rose. "Why do you always assume the worst?" "Because my own son demanded I leave," I said flatly. His lips parted, but Clara touched his arm. "Ethan, let me." Then she turned to me, her words dripping with sweetness. "Mother, you've lived a long, honorable life. But isn't it time to rest? Imagine being free of responsibility. We'll handle everything." I leaned forward. "I don't need freedom from my life. My life is here." Ethan clenched his jaw. "Why are you making this difficult? Claire's right. You should enjoy peace." "Peace." My laugh was bitter. "By being exiled from my own home?" Clara's tone sharpened. "No one said exile. We're offering comfort. Comfort that begins with stripping me of my dignity," I shot back. Ethan's voice cracked with frustration. "You don't understand." "I understand perfectly," I said, cutting him off. "You want control. But the deed proves you have none." He flinched. Clara's eyes narrowed, though her smile remained intact. "Paper doesn't always hold against reality. If the family sides with us, what then?" "Then let them side," I answered coldly. "This house is not theirs to give." The silence hung thick. I could see Ethan's struggle, his loyalty torn between blood and whispers. Finally, he muttered, "Father never meant for you to wield this house like a weapon." I rose, fury burning through my veins. "Don't you dare speak for him. He trusted me. He put my name on it. Not yours. Not Clara's. Mine." Clara's eyes flashed. Perhaps he underestimated how things would change. I stepped closer. No. He foresaw exactly this. That greed would come knocking. And he armed me against it. Ethan shook his head. "You're twisting everything." "Am I?" My voice trembled with hurt. "Or have you already chosen her over me?" His silence was answer enough. My chest ached, but I stood firm. "This is my line, Ethan. Cross it and you'll lose more than a house." Clara leaned in, her voice velvet but venomous. "And what will you do, Mother? Fight us in court? Shame the family? Do you want your last years spent battling your own son?" I met her gaze without flinching. "If that's what it takes." Ethan slammed his fist on the table. "Enough. Why are you making her the enemy?" "Because she is," I whispered, pointing at Clara. "She's taken your love and twisted it into a dagger against me." Clara feigned innocence. "You wound me, Mother. I only want unity." "Unity built on my ruin," I snapped. Ethan's shoulders slumped. "I can't do this. I can't keep choosing between you." "You already have," I said softly. His head dropped, shame flickering in his eyes. Clara squeezed his hand, pulling him closer. "You're weak when you face her," she murmured, though I still heard it. "Stand firm." My heart cracked. He was hers now. I straightened. "Listen to me, both of you. I am not leaving this house. Not tomorrow, not ever. If you try, I'll fight with every breath left in me." Clara's smile hardened. "Then you've declared war." "So be it," I whispered. For a long moment no one moved. The weight of decades of sacrifice pressed down on me. Finally Ethan turned, his voice breaking. "Let's go, Clara." They left the room without another glance. I sank back into the chair, my body trembling, but my spirit refusing to bend. Anna appeared at the doorway, her eyes wide. "Madam?" I heard shouting. I pressed my hand over my chest. "They want to take everything, Anna. But I won't let them." Her voice shook. "Do you think they'll stop?" "No," I whispered. "This is only the beginning. But I'm ready." She stepped closer. "You're not alone, madam. I'll stand with you." Tears burned my eyes. "Thank you, Anna. That means more than you know." I leaned back, closing my eyes for a moment. The air still vibrated with Clara's poisoned words, Ethan's silence, and my own aching heart. But beneath the pain, a seed of fire burned steady. The paper upstairs was more than a deed. It was my shield, my weapon, my salvation. And I would wield it until the very end. I barely slept that night. The walls of the mansion felt colder, as if they too had turned against me. When the morning light seeped through the curtains, I dragged myself out of bed, bracing for another battle. In the kitchen, Anna was already preparing tea. She looked up nervously. "Madam, I overheard Ethan on the phone last night." My stomach tightened. "What did he say?" She hesitated. "He was talking about lawyers. And Clara was with him." The words pierced me like knives. "Lawyers," I repeated slowly, my voice hollow. "So it begins." Before Anna could answer, the front door slammed. Ethan's voice echoed. "Mother, we need to talk now." I straightened my shoulders. "Bring them in, Anna." Ethan and Clara strode into the dining room like conquerors entering their prize. Clara's perfume filled the air, sweet yet suffocating. Ethan didn't sit. "We can't keep going like this. Clara and I have decided it's best if you move out within the month." My hands trembled around the teacup, but I forced my voice steady. "You've decided? And what about me?" Clara folded her arms. "We've thought of you, Mother. We found a lovely apartment. Modern, safe, easy to manage. You'll have everything you need." "Except my dignity," I snapped. Ethan's jaw clenched. "Why must you see this as betrayal?" "Because it is betrayal," I shouted. My voice cracked through the room, shaking even Anna in the corner. "I carried you in my womb, Ethan. I starved myself to feed you. I built this house with every drop of blood I had left. And you stand here plotting to throw me out like unwanted furniture." Ethan's face darkened. "Don't make this dramatic. We're only trying to erase me," I cut him off. "Don't twist it into love when it reeks of greed." Clara's lips curled into a cold smile. "Greed? Oh, Mother. This is practicality. You're old, fragile, and this house requires younger hands. It's time you step aside." I slammed the cup onto the table, tea spilling over the cloth. "You will not decide my worth. This house is mine and the deed proves it." Ethan's nostrils flared. "That paper won't protect you forever. Courts can be persuaded. Families can be convinced. Do you want to turn this into a public scandal?" "Better scandal than slavery," I hissed. Anna stepped forward, wringing her hands. "Sir, please, she's your mother. Don't do this." Ethan turned on her. "Stay out of this, Anna. You're only a servant." My heart broke at his cruelty. "How dare you speak to her like that? She has shown me more loyalty than my own blood." Ethan flinched, but Clara's hand on his arm steadied him. "Don't let her guilt trips weaken you," she whispered. I rose slowly, my legs trembling yet unyielding. "You may threaten, you may whisper, but hear me now. If you try to drag me out, you will have to destroy me first." Ethan's eyes widened, but Clara smirked. "You're bluffing." I stepped closer, staring straight into her eyes. "Try me." For a long moment, silence wrapped the room. My breath came heavy, but my spirit roared. Finally, Ethan broke it. "We're done here. You'll hear from the lawyers." He grabbed Clara's hand and stormed out. The door slammed again. The sound rattled through the mansion like a warning bell. I sank into the chair, burying my face in my palms. Anna rushed to my side. "Madam, this is too much for your heart. Please let me call Dr. Patel." "No," I whispered. "This is not sickness. This is war." She knelt beside me. "Then promise me you won't fight alone." I lifted my head, tears streaking my cheeks. "I don't have anyone left, Anna. My husband is gone. My son has turned into a stranger. Who else will stand with me?" She gripped my hand tightly. "I will. Whatever comes, I'll stay." I squeezed her hand, my voice trembling. "Bless you, child." The rest of the day passed in a haze. I wandered through the mansion, touching walls, doors, windows. Memories whispered everywhere. Ethan's laughter as a boy, his tiny hands clutching mine, the nights I worked late to pay for his school. Each memory cut deeper, a reminder of how far we'd fallen. By evening, the storm outside mirrored the one within me. Lightning cracked, rain battered the windows, and the mansion groaned under the weight of it all. Suddenly the phone rang. The sound jolted me. I lifted the receiver with shaking hands. "Mother," Ethan's voice came through, low, almost hesitant. I held my breath. "Why are you calling?" Pause. "Then, Clara says we shouldn't wait. The lawyer will send papers tomorrow. Please, don't make this harder than it has to be." My voice broke into a whisper. "Do you hear yourself, Ethan? Do you hear what you've become?" He didn't answer. The silence on the line screamed louder than words. Finally, he muttered, "Good night, Mother." The line went dead. I placed the phone down slowly, staring into the darkened hall. My chest ached, but fire burned beneath the grief. Anna peeked in. "Was it Ethan?" "Yes," I whispered. "What did he say?" "That tomorrow," I said softly, "the battle truly begins." She crossed the room, wrapping her arms around me. For the first time in years, I allowed myself to weep openly. "Madam," she whispered, "whatever they bring, you are stronger." I nodded through the tears. "Stronger, yes. But strength has a breaking point. And mine is near." As the storm raged outside, I clutched the deed upstairs in my mind, my last shield. But I knew, if Ethan pushed harder, if Clara pressed further, something inside me would shatter. And when it did, none of us would ever be the same again. The next morning arrived like a blade pressed against my throat. Sunlight streamed through the curtains, but it carried no warmth. Anna brought me breakfast, but I barely touched it. My hands shook as I stared at the untouched toast. She whispered, "Madam, you must eat something." I pushed the plate away. How can I, when my own son plots against me? Before she could reply, the doorbell rang. Its sharp chime echoed through the hall. Anna froze. "Do you think?" I stood, forcing steadiness into my legs. "Yes. It's them." When I opened the door, Ethan and Clara were there, dressed in stiff clothes as if they were already on trial. Behind them stood a man in a dark suit, clearly the lawyer. Ethan cleared his throat. "Mother, this is Mr. Grayson. He's here too." "I know why he's here," I said coldly, stepping aside. "Come in. Let the vulture enter." Clara's smile was tight. "There's no need for insults." "There's every need," I replied, leading them into the living room. Mr. Grayson opened his briefcase, pulling out a stack of papers. "Mrs. Anderson, these documents outline the transfer of property ownership. Once signed, the house will—" I cut him off. "Stop. Before you waste more words, tell me, did my son show you the deed?" The lawyer blinked. "The deed?" "Yes. The legal proof that this mansion belongs solely to me. Did you see it?" He looked uncertain. "I was told ownership is under family claim." "Lies," I spat. I stormed to the cabinet, unlocked the drawer, and pulled out the paper that had become my lifeline. With shaking hands, I slapped it on the table. "Read it. Out loud." The lawyer adjusted his glasses, scanning the document. His brows furrowed. "This clearly states the property is registered under your name alone." Ethan stiffened. "That can't be right." Clara leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. "Check again." Mr. Grayson cleared his throat. "It's valid. Unless Mrs. Anderson willingly transfers ownership, no one, not even her children, have a legal claim." The silence that followed was suffocating. Clara's nails tapped against the table, her mask cracking. "You lied to me," she hissed at Ethan under her breath, but I heard it. Ethan's face flushed. "I didn't lie, I assumed." "You assumed." Clara's voice sharpened, trembling with rage. "You dragged me into this humiliation on an assumption?" I leaned back, the bitterness in my chest turning sweet. "Ah, the cracks appear." Clara shot me a glare sharp enough to cut glass. "Don't think this is over." Mr. Grayson closed his briefcase quickly. "I won't proceed further. Mrs. Anderson, my apologies. I was misinformed." He turned to Ethan and Clara. "I advise you to resolve this privately. Legally, you have no case." He left swiftly, almost fleeing the storm brewing in my living room. Clara rounded on Ethan the moment the door shut. "Do you realize what you've done? You've ruined everything." Ethan raised his voice. "Don't blame me. How was I supposed to know she had the deed?" "How?" Clara's voice cracked with fury. "By checking before dragging a lawyer here. You've made us fools." I stood, trembling but strong. No, Ethan made himself a fool the moment he chose betrayal over blood. He turned to me, guilt flickering in his eyes. "Mother, please, I cut him off. "Save your excuses. I gave you everything. And you tried to take the only thing I had left." Clara sneered. "She's manipulating you again. Don't listen." But Ethan's shoulders sagged. "Claire, stop. She's right." The words seemed to slap Clara across the face. "What did you just say?" He swallowed hard. "We went too far." Her voice rose to a shriek. "Too far. You're weak, Ethan. Weak and pathetic. I married you for ambition, for strength, not to watch you crawl back to your mother. The room went silent. Ethan's face turned pale, the truth slicing him deeper than any insult. You married me for ambition? He whispered. Clara realized too late what she'd revealed. I didn't mean. You meant every word, I said, my voice low, almost pitying. Ethan looked at her as though seeing her for the first time. All this time, was I just your tool? Clara tried to grab his arm. Ethan, listen. He yanked it away. Don't touch me. I stepped closer, my heart breaking even as vindication coursed through me. Now you see, Ethan. Betrayal doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it sleeps beside you. Tears welled in his eyes. Mother. I held up my hand. Don't. Apologies won't heal this wound. You chose her over me when it mattered. And that choice cannot be undone. Clara's mask shattered entirely. She screamed, Fine. Keep your decrepit mansion. I don't need either of you. She grabbed her purse, storming toward the door. You'll regret this, Ethan. Both of you will. The door slammed behind her, the echo ringing like final judgment. Ethan collapsed into a chair, burying his face in his hands. What have I done? I stood over him, torn between anger and sorrow. You traded love for greed. And now you taste the consequence. He looked up, his eyes red. Will you ever forgive me? I hesitated, pain twisting inside me. Forgiveness isn't given like water, Ethan. It must be earned. And you have a long road ahead. He nodded, his voice breaking. Then let me try. Please. I turned away, staring at the walls of the house I had fought so hard to keep. My voice came out steady, though my heart trembled. Time will decide, not words. Anna entered quietly, her gaze darting between us. Is it over? I shook my head. No. It's never over. But today justice stood by me. Ethan bowed his head, silent tears dripping onto the table. For the first time he looked like the little boy I once held, lost and broken. But I didn't reach out. Not yet. Because betrayal leaves scars deeper than love can instantly heal. And though Clara was gone, her shadow still lingered in this house. 4 days after Clara stormed out, the house was heavy with silence. Ethan moved like a shadow, barely speaking, barely eating. I watched him, torn between anger and pity. Finally, one evening I confronted him in the study. Ethan, I said firmly, sulking won't wash away the choices you made. He looked up slowly, his eyes bloodshot. I don't know how to live with what I've done. You start, I replied, by facing it. He shook his head. She twisted everything, Mother. But I thought I was building a family, but I was destroying the one I already had. Clara may have twisted words, I said, but you let them root in your heart. His voice broke. I was blind. I sighed. Blindness can be forgiven. But betrayal, that leaves a stain. He leaned forward. Tell me how to make it right. I'll do anything. I stared at him, my heart aching. You can't erase the past. But you can protect the future. That starts with honesty. He swallowed. Then I'll tell you everything. And he did. How Clara poisoned his thoughts, how she made him believe I was selfish, clinging to wealth I didn't need. How she convinced him that love was weakness and ambition was strength. When he finished, I whispered, and you believed her over me. Tears slid down his face. I'm sorry. I turned away, my chest heavy. Sorry doesn't give back the nights I wept because of you. Sorry doesn't heal the crack you put in my heart. He sank to the floor at my feet. Then let me serve you. Let me earn forgiveness with action, not words. Before I could reply, the front door slammed open. Clara's voice rang out, shrill and furious. Ethan, you coward. Do you think you can abandon me? Ethan jumped to his feet as Clara stormed into the study. Her eyes burned with rage, her hair disheveled. You humiliated me in front of everyone, she screamed. You dare stay in this house while I... Enough, Clara, Ethan said quietly. She froze, stunned by his tone. What did you say? I said enough, he repeated louder now. This ends tonight. She scoffed. You think you can just throw me aside? You're nothing without me. Nothing. He lifted his head. No, Clara. I was nothing with you. Her eyes widened. You ungrateful. I stepped forward, my voice cutting through. Leave this house, Clara. You've poisoned it enough. He turned on me, spitting venom. This was supposed to be mine. All of it. You think that paper will protect you forever? You're old, weak. And yet I'm still standing, I said calmly. Ethan moved between us. Claire, listen carefully. You will never set foot in this house again. Her face twisted. You don't mean that. I do, he said firmly. She looked between us, her composure cracking. You'll regret this. Both of you. I met her gaze without flinching. No, Claire. You'll regret losing the one person who loved you despite your poison. For a moment her lips trembled as though truth pierced her armor. But then she spun on her heel and stormed out, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. The silence after her exit was deafening. Ethan sagged, running a hand through his hair. It's over. I shook my head. No. It's just beginning. She won't let go easily. But I will never let her back in, he said, voice firm. I studied him carefully. For the first time in years I saw not just the man but the boy I raised, the boy who once clung to my hand. Then prove it, I said softly. How? He asked. Stand with me. Protect what your father and I built. Not because it's yours but because it's right. He nodded slowly. I will. I swear it. We sat in silence for a long while, the storm outside echoing the storm within us. Later that night Anna entered with tea. She set the tray down and whispered, Clara's car is gone. She won't be back tonight. Good, I replied, though my heart remained heavy. Anna looked at Ethan. Sir, forgive me, but you've hurt her deeply. If you want redemption you must live it daily. He bowed his head. I know. And I will. I sipped the tea, the warmth soothing my throat. Ethan, tomorrow you will go to the lawyer. You'll make it clear that this house, this legacy, belongs where it was always meant to. He nodded. Yes, mother. I studied him again, searching his face for deceit. But all I saw was exhaustion, regret, and perhaps, at last, resolve. When he left the room, Anna leaned closer. Do you trust him again? I stared at the flickering candlelight. Trust is like glass, Anna. Once shattered, it can never be whole. But perhaps it can still reflect light. That night I walked through the mansion alone. The hallways whispered with memories. My husband's laughter, Ethan's childhood giggles, the countless sacrifices etched into these walls. I stopped before the study window, staring into the storm. My reflection looked back at me, tired, weathered, scarred. Yet behind the lines and shadows, fire still glowed. For years I had lived for Ethan. For years I had believed he was my legacy. But now I saw the truth. My legacy was not him, it was me. My strength, my endurance, my refusal to bend. When I returned to my room, I laid the deed on the table. My hands stroked its surface gently. This paper had saved me, but it was not just ink and words. It was proof of survival. And tomorrow, when the world looked at me, they would not see a frail old woman to be discarded. They would see the woman who built a mansion from nothing, who faced betrayal and did not break. I whispered into the night, my voice steady. You tried to erase me. But I am still here. And I will remain. The storm outside began to fade, the thunder rolling into silence. For the first time in weeks I lay down and closed my eyes with peace. Because though the wounds still bled, the war had turned. And I had not lost. The morning after Clara stormed out, the air felt lighter. Yet beneath the calm lingered a sharp unease. I knew her well enough to understand she would not accept defeat quietly. As I sat in the kitchen with my tea, Anna entered, her face pale. Madam, she whispered, someone was outside last night. I saw headlights by the gate. I set my cup down slowly. Clara. Anna nodded. She's watching. Before I could reply, Ethan entered. His shoulders were squared, his eyes resolute. I already spoke with the lawyer, he announced. The deed, the accounts, everything has been secured. Clara can't touch a penny. I raised an eyebrow. And do you think that will stop her? He hesitated. Legally, yes. But hatred doesn't follow laws, I finished. He lowered his gaze. Then what do we do? I looked him dead in the eye. We face her. Not as victims, Ethan, but as survivors. That evening, as though summoned by our words, Clara returned. She didn't sneak this time. She marched into the courtyard, her heels clattering like gunshots. Come out, she shouted. You think you've won? I'm not done. I stepped outside, my shawl wrapped tightly around me. Ethan followed, his jaw clenched. Clara, I said evenly, leave this place. It no longer belongs to you. Her laugh was cold. Belongs to me? Oh, how noble you sound hiding behind your paper. But tell me, what about your son's reputation? What if everyone knew he plotted against his own mother? Ethan stiffened. You wouldn't. Oh, I would, she smirked. One word from me and society will spit on you both. I felt anger rise, but I forced calm into my voice. Let them hear. Let the world know how far greed dragged you. Do you think shame frightens me now? I've already survived it. Clara's smile faltered for the first time. You think people will believe you? I don't need their belief, I replied. I have the truth. And I have the deed. What do you have, Clara? Rage? Lies? A broken heart. Her face contorted, but Ethan stepped forward before she could retort. Claire, listen carefully. This is the last time I will speak to you. I was blind, but not anymore. You wanted to destroy my mother, but you destroyed us instead. There's nothing left. Her eyes glistened. You loved me once. I pitied you, Ethan said softly. I mistook that for love. She flinched as though struck. So that's it? You throw me away like garbage. I answered for him. Garbage throws itself away when it cannot poison anymore. Her hands trembled, fury spilling over. You'll regret this. Both of you. Perhaps, I said calmly. But regret is lighter than chains. And you, Clara, you'll carry chains of your own making forever. For a long moment she stood frozen, her mouth opening and closing with words she couldn't form. Then with a guttural scream she turned and fled into the night, her footsteps echoing until silence consumed the courtyard. Ethan let out a breath. Is it truly over? I touched his arm. Only when you prove each day that you've changed. The next weeks tested us both. Whispers spread in town, half-truths and twisted tales. Some pitied me, others judged. But I walked through markets with my head high, greeting every gaze with steady eyes. I refused to bend. One afternoon, Anna entered my room holding an envelope. This arrived for you, madam. From Clara. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a single line scrawled in messy ink. You may have won the house, but you lost your son. I smiled bitterly. No, Claire. I gained him back. When Ethan read it, his face hardened. She'll keep haunting us, won't she? Haunting herself more than us, I replied. She'll fade, Ethan. Shadows always do when light grows. Months passed. Slowly, Ethan rebuilt his life, not with Clara's poison but with humility. He visited me daily, worked with the lawyer to restore the estate, and began volunteering at the local orphanage. One evening as we sat by the fireplace he spoke quietly. Mother, do you think I'll ever be forgiven? I studied the flames before answering. Forgiveness isn't a door you walk through once. It's a road you walk every day. You've started. Keep walking. He nodded, his eyes glistening. That night, for the first time in years, I felt peace settle over me. The house no longer echoed with betrayal. It hummed with resilience. And in the quiet of my room I opened my journal and wrote. Justice is not revenge. Justice is survival with dignity. I did not seek to punish Clara. I sought to protect myself. And in doing so I found strength I never knew I had. I closed the book and whispered to the walls that had witnessed everything. They tried to erase me. But I remain. And I will remain until my last breath. The wind outside rustled gently, not in anger now but like a lullaby. For the first time I believed the war was truly over. And in that belief I finally found closure.